What's going on, guys? Welcome to this live. Welcome. Thank you for your patience. Here I am with six people. For those morning early birds, welcome to this channel. I was doing some investigation regarding the UAP phenomena, and I found one in particular very interesting. Very interesting. It's called the jellyfish. Hopefully, you guys like it. If you have any questions, you send it through the chat. All right. So I'm sharing my screen right here, guys. Presentation. Perfect. Yeah. All right. So apparently this happened not long ago. Uh, it is it's some sort of UFO, or now called UAP, and that comes from the military, from the Pentagon, and also from blower whistlers who disclose all this to the public. So they did all. I think it was in 2023, 2022, something like that. But if you see the video, something is manipulating a kind of machine that levitates. And there's several of those. So I think here's one here. One here. So you see like a tiny head, the body, the arms, sitting some sitting over something like is levitating with gravity force and something, and it has like a three legs, three extremities, like a landing gear. Well, let's see the full cut. Remember, guys, this is a live. The live, obviously, will have features like this. Some ads. So this is the jellyfish video. And they put even these filters, like the military aircrafts have this type of sense of propulsion. You don't see nothing like coming underneath, from below, from the sides, nothing. It's just thermal. There's nothing thermal actually coming out, like a heat, some sort of propulsion. She got me fascinated about it. A little forward. You guys see the tiny head? Look at tiny head. Like it's an alien, no? It's an alien manipulated UAP, the aircraft. That's so cool. You can see the tiny ball head right here. Tiny ball head and the big eye. like almond shape. Well, there's people walking in in the background right there. Wow, that's so cool. That's really cool. Sometimes when I see this type of videos, it makes me to think that how humble we need to be, and not just with us, the humanity, for other things that we think that we can be capable to handle, but when in reality, it's not that way. No, we have a lot still to learn, though. A lot. Let's move forward. It's- That's what it looks like. Military bases, though, right there. They improvised. So, which means these entities or phenomena, they know where they going to from military bases to defenses, which is cool. See, we can have a close up. That's the cool thing. Yeah.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creator.
Well, so this jellyfish, there's a AI version of it, and it was really enhanced. It was very enhanced to show us what exactly this phenomena looks like. And if you see right here, it looks like it is like some sort of saddle, like a small, I would say, like in between standing, use like a saddle, something to sit over. And there's like some sort of plates around, like a, like I will say, like not a dome, like a back protection. Let's just say it like that. And these two front, right here, it looks to me that it can be this entity or some sort of humanoid form, biological legs or not. Normally, these entities are known as the tiny grays. They're really short, most likely. Uh, there's other type of entities, that tall whites or some tall grays, but this one is in, in comparison of the head and the body shape. Maybe the legs might be right here, some sort that he sits down, he relaxes legs. So these legs cannot be his or this phenomena. It might be it's its landing gear from that aircraft. In the rear, it has another protuberance, like another extremity that might be like a support from all UFO. But this is enhanced by AI, and you can see the tiny arms. You don't see any uh, like a joystick or something that it can manipulate it, some sort of wheel, or as we know, us obviously humans, we normally have wheels or some control system.
This is
But
my first time watching the Jellyfish UAP video all the way
another
through.
one.
Like, at first you think it's a jetpack. Even in the beginning, there's a few head turns. Is that not two eyes?
Yeah, there's two eyes.
This is my first time watching the Jellyfish UAP video all the way through.
Some sort of humanoid you sitting there and just
Like, at
checking
first,
all around.
it's a jetpack.
That's really crazy.
In just the first 2 weeks of 2024, we have witnessed a video that has both captivated
jellyfish
and
UFO.
bewildered UFO enthusiasts around the globe. The
I
new
think
clip
this is Jeremy Corbell.
jellyfish UFO first spotted on a U.S. operations base in Iraq in
There you go.
2018, but this video is just now making its way into the public eye. Then, just days after the video emerged, the House Oversight Committee held a closed-door briefing with members of the intelligence community. Mixed reaction on how that went.
Oh. Too large. Apparently, those are biological too. That's crazy. Can't be that. No, cannot be that. It cannot be two creatures. It cannot. Wow.
So here's the dealio. Jeremy Corbell claims the intelligence community has been playing a cosmic game of hide and seek with this UFO. He's fondly named it Jellyfish, not because of any particular love for marine life, but because this thing levitates with as much grace and elegance as a jellyfish.
Yeah.
Footage captured under the cloak of the night apparently employed thermographic, forward-looking infrared imagery. It's like they were making a superhero movie or something, but plot twist. Traditional night vision gear couldn't spot it. Some of the military folk on the ground were as clueless about its presence as a cat chasing a laser pointer. This UFO is a cosmic chameleon, changing colors faster than a mood ring, from dark to invisible, then turning as white as a ghost. Plunges into a body of water for a 17-minute underwater siesta.
Yeah, you see how it changed dark into clear,
faster than you
lighter.
It is a video of an unidentified object that is sparking debate and curiosity. No one can say for sure what exactly this is, and now for the first time, we're hearing from a Marine veteran who says he served on the base where the video was taken in Iraq.
Did you think when you watched it for the first time that like it could be, non-human?
It crossed my mind because the theories that we had, like I said, didn't fully explain it.
Michael Sinkoski was an intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance tactical controller at the base in Iraq. He says the video was captured in 2017 and shown to him by colleagues when he arrived in 2018. Marines nicknamed the object the Spaghetti Monster.
When they started seeing it on the camera, watching it to make sure that
this security camera in Mexico captured a jellyfish-like object flying around. What makes this so interesting is how the animals react to it.
All of it, even the dogs. That's crazy. Whoa, that's really crazy. Now walking?
Check out our page for full paranormal.
Forget grainy photos. 2025 gave us HD jellyfish UAPs and missile-proof orbs. The Pentagon said it was just atmospheric clutter. Then a Navy drone filmed a translucent jellyfish the size of a bus hovering over an Iraqi base, tentacles pulsing like neon lights.
I remember.
Same week, a Hellfire missile locked onto a chrome orb
Oh,
in
that was another one. Yes,
Zero
that's really crazy.
Radar tracked it
It's
zigzagging
amazing.
Mach 3 jets like they were
Keep
parked.
that one. The
Congress got the classified clip. Pilots call it the Dodge. A 747 Hood locked a wingless silver cube slicing through 550 miles per hour air. 3 incidents, 3 continents, 1 month, and every agency shrugged. So are we on the brink of hello, or is Earth just glitching?
That's crazy.
Drop your vote. Alien
or take.
2018.
Gotta give explanation about it. It's more clear.
NASA started as a sea exploration like industry. That's what they were trying to do. They weren't trying to look at space. They're trying to look at the
Sure. Anyhow, so jellyfish UFO video in Iraqi. So this is another type of video. Chandelier. This is by Jeremy Corbell. Everybody knows him, but famous by Jeremy Corbell. Jeremy Corbell was with the Whistleblowers back in the day in 2023, I think, when it was, and everything came out of to the hearing, and we may know about this UAP flying in different directions and very supersonic speeds. Jeremy Corbell says, today we released the image of a military filmed UAP, a still from a video that was filmed over the Persian Gulf. Wow, that's cool. This vehicle is unknown origin, had no conventional flight control surfaces, and has been officially designated by the United States as a UAP. And the show is going to open X, obviously. That is crazy. United States as a UAP. Unidentified anomalous phenomena. This designation is currently maintained. Chandelier UAP. Wow, that's cool. He even shared the coordinates. That's really cool. Guys on social media. This one seagulls. Yeah. Well, we don't know. There's a lot of things going on out there, guys. So I'm gonna still be surfing here. Let's check it out. I was watching this one. So this is another one that comes from Alex Jones Network, which is so interesting. And I think this was capturing Colombia. It was some sort of a UAP with some kind of digital engravement, but that is a silver sphere, unknown. So let's check it out.
Of extraterrestrial origin that landed in Colombia, Buga, a little town called Buga, B-U-G-A, Colombia.
Sphere of Buga.
We have that is secured in Mexico City, and we've done tests on it. It was flying around at tremendous speeds, but got too close to a power line and landed. And we have since tested it, and it is 12,560 years old. The alloy of the metal of the shell of this sphere, which is about the size of a large basketball, is an alloy that doesn't even exist on Earth today in the aerospace industry.
Wow, so you're about to reveal a confirmed crash vehicle that 12,000 years, probably not than a human copy. Absolutely incredible.
And what's interesting, there is some writing around the top of this sphere that is Proto-Sanskrit. which we believe originated from another star system, and it was the root of all Indo-European languages from Sanskrit. But this is a type of Proto-Sanskrit. The thing is fascinating. The whole press conference with all these new whistleblowers and the Boogosphere is only an hour and a half, so we're going to have to move very quickly through it. But the next day, we're going to do
looks like a digital microchip, but I'm just telling you, basically, there.
If they can't, it's sold out.
Is this a photo of it?
Yes, there's the photo of it. There's the Proto-Sanskrit around the perimeter of what looks like a circuitry.
I was about to say, yeah.
My team were the ones who took
the
metal
language around,
and out of the perimeter and the equator of this, there are some resin material that are in 31 little portals, and we tested that, and that's where we tested it to be 12,560 years old from the time of the last end of the last ice age. And I think
so. You were able to get particles from Earth that are embedded in it and get the date.
No, these were functional parts of it because there were microscopic fiber optics in this resin that are around the equator of this Boogosphere. It's a very fascinating piece of technology. Now, remember, when it first landed, it weighed about 2 pounds. Now it weighs 22 pounds. So because when it first landed, 2 kilograms.
Wow. So it keeps its own weight.
And it is something that when it first landed also was cold to the touch. A farmer nearby grabbed it when it got disabled. It got shorted out near a power line. We have the video of it. And he grabbed it. It was just a regular guy out in the country in Colombia, South America. And it was cold to the touch and it was very light. But then over a few weeks, as it became the circuitry died, it gained its mass back. Now, people say, how is that possible? Well, these technologies that are electromagnetic field propulsion technologies result in what we call a mass cancellation effect, where the actual weight of something is reduced and it can float around and move as if it has no weight at all, like it's in an anti-gravity system, which it is.
Wow. Alex John. Top guys for the
on Thursday, April 30th, 2026 at midnight, the deep state will finally be successful, they believe, in shutting down InfoWars, barring a miracle. So I'm asking every viewer and every listener right now to realize you're the Paul Revere's, to share the new URL of the new show, AlexJonesLive.com, the gateway to the Alex Jones Network, on your email list, your text message list, and all over social media. Do it now as we the people overpower the deep state.
Yeah, support him though. It's been on the streaming for the longest.
And on Apple at AlexJonesApp.com right now. That's the destination, the coordinates in the next chapter of the Info War. I'm counting on you to take action. Now do it now, and God bless you all.
Yeah, so Alex John has been the longest in the streamings and making his videos, talking about several things. One of those are the Epstein files, and a lot of people with lizard humanoids eating. I don't want this to get a little bit off, but you can find it on the lives and many videos that he had in the past. I think there's several channels that he got taken down from YouTube because all this truth. All this truth is just all these rotten eggs is doing the wrong to the people, to the Americans, and many people. There's other stuff related to this topic that several UFOs and UAPs and all these things is related. There's abductions. So I like to go to social media and you guys see how I do my research. Anybody can do this, obviously, but this is the live. I don't care. It's a freedom of speech. Feel free to share whatever you want. Feel free to enjoy your video and enjoy this show. So, uh, um, All right, so let's check it out. See, there's a video where they mainly talk about the alien abductions that happens to the people, and mainly of those is from people that cross the border from South America, Mexico to United States. They call the caravans or something like that. So they go to another country in the middle of the desert, the rural and the most hostile places where these entities come here and just take them down and do whatever experiment with humanoids. All right, let's find another way because it's not coming up. Um, and all this is bizarre. Seriously, this is all bizarre. Person who talks about right here. This one here. This is the one.
Okay, Billy, this is wild. Let's get you up to date
It
on the
is
fact that
wild.
aliens,
It is
UFOs,
mind bending.
hybrid breeding suddenly has become mainstream. Here's a clip of former Congressman Matt Gaetz on the Benny Johnson show just a few days ago. Take a look.
I mean, I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that.
Well, Billy, I want to get your response to that. But first, Tim Burkett, an active and current member of the United States Congress, just said this on Newsmax. Take a look.
I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this, if they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up, you'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. We just need to disclose it all. I'm sick of it. Well, I was briefed. I'll just tell you this. I was briefed last week.
Look at the face of the anchor man. Like look at his face. He's like, wait, what? Did he just say? Obviously, he's not saying yes. He's not saying no. But his words, I mean, you must be retarded to not get it, though. If you understand these words, you will get it. There's a hybrid breeding aliens with humans. The project is supported apparently by some secret hidden groups that allow this. Obviously, it's not gonna come out of the public. It's mind bending, but the main purpose apparently for this is to have a intergalactic communication with the hybrid race that is or it's been in progress to create a human alien hybrid type to have that communication, to develop that. I don't know. Call me crazy. I've heard the longest for the last 13 years, Alex Young talking about this. Many people saying things like this going on, many abduction cases, many stuff like that. And now this is confirming it. It is confirming since President Truman. Apparently, back in the day, it was a treaty where President Truman allowed to have abductions from humans in exchange of technology. With all this technology we have right now, they're not gonna give us everything at once. Obviously, we need to retro engineer all this technology that it's been given like a bread crumbles here and there. But call me crazy, I just want to hear this again though. Look at the anchor man face, like obviously it's crazy.
We just need to disclose.
All right.
This on Newsmax. Take a look.
I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this, if they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up, you'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. We just need to disclose it all. I'm sick of it. Well, I was briefed. I was
like, what?
On an issue, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago, and it would have set the earth on. This country would have come unglued. I think if they would have heard all that I heard, they would demand answers.
And lastly, Billy, I'm going to get right to you. J.D. Vance, a man who was a heartbeat away from leading the free world, had this to say about aliens just the other day. Take a look.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion. So you think they're demons?
Democrats.
Look, I think that celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people, I think that the desire to describe everything celestial, everything as otherworldly, to describe it as aliens. I mean, every great world religion, including Christianity, the one that I believe in, has understood that there are weird things out there, and there are things that are very difficult to explain. And I naturally go, when I hear about sort of extra natural phenomenon, that's where I go to, is the Christian understanding that, there's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil out there.
All right, Billy, now finally it's your time. What do you think?
Binary. Up, down.
We just came out with a film, as we
Bad,
talked about, investigating
good.
the supernatural, angels and demons. We talk about aliens in that film, UFOs, and provide a framework, a Christian framework through which people can understand this. These are wild claims. Let's just start there. But 5 years ago, 3 years ago, even 10 years ago for sure, this would have seemed crazy bonkers. Nobody would have entertained it. Now we have politicians sitting politicians, the vice president, and I don't think, just for context, what J.D. Vance said was crazy at all. I think he's actually onto something, and I'll talk about that in a moment.
Yeah, he's not crazy. He's just speaking based on facts, though, and
they're going to
truth.
spark all sorts of conspiracy theories and questions. I mean, look, if sitting congressmen and former congressmen are saying these sorts of things, at the very least, eyebrows are raising, and you're thinking, what in the world is going on here?
Right.
What is truly happening? Now, as Christians, we have to pull back, pull our Bibles out, go to Ephesians 6, right? It tells us we're in a spiritual battle. It tells us there's good and evil, that all the things that are happening are not related just to flesh and us versus them, that they're related to powers and principalities, and that there are evils that are pouring over into our world. So if that's the case, when we have a situation like this, I believe we have to start looking at everything through those faith lenses. What is truly going on? And so in our film, and also J.D. Vance saying the same thing, we address this through a spiritual lens. Are there really aliens that were created by God on spaceships that are flying around? Well, there's a debate there, and people are going to have that debate. Or are these demons? Is this demonic or spiritual? And is it interdimensional? And it's really more of what the Bible describes, just another
A lot of things going on.
manifesting
Maybe
itself.
a different dimension, you never know. Could be anything. Something that we still don't understand.
Saw him say that. And I think that is the general Christian understanding here of what is going on, that we are dealing with a spiritual issue. Now, having said all of that, and then I'll let you take it from here, Raj, we do have to ask these questions and have the conversation. And hey, Christians, instead of burying your head in the sand, you are going to have a response on this. You need to figure out right now what you believe about it, which requires discernment, prayer, research, because secular culture It's happening right now. We just played 3 clips for you. Secular culture is addressing this and talking about it. Our politicians are talking about it. What do you believe about it? You're going to have to figure that out.
Well, to your point, Billy, when it comes to movies, I don't know if you saw this, but Steven Spielberg is releasing a movie, I want to say, called Disclosure Day, which is, you want to go down some conspiracy theory rabbit holes, it's like, that seems conveniently timed. But to me, and as I was thinking about this discussion, if you're watching this, here's my biblical, Holy Spirit-filled, hopefully, understanding of what's happening. To me,
like J.D. Vance said, can be something supernatural, can be something malevolent, like evil. I mean, we don't know these things, you know? Only thing I can say is that we're obviously created at someone else's similarities as a human, you know? There's crazy things that you can ask nowadays to social media. You can ask for ChatGPT and other platforms out there that you have access to it. Does God exist? Yes, He does. He does exist. He's real. Do it yourself. You can do it yourself right now. And you ask questions. You just ask. No. AI. Answer my questions. Just yes or no. Does God exist? Yes. Are we alone in this universe? No. And it will tell you everything, though. I did it myself. It is scary, though. It depends on the question that you put on. Sometimes it will try to deny to answer your questions, but it will be ridiculously retarded for someone to say, "Oh, well, you guys crazy." Well, those type of people are still zombified, asleep. They need to wake up. So it's time to wake up, guys. It's 2026. These topics were talked back in 2013, 2010. I don't know. Get to know yourself. You know this Roswell incident. So, weather balloon, and then the guy ended up having a bunch of technology and even bodies, alien bodies, recovered, hidden somewhere else. I made a live regarding Obama saying something about aliens. He clearly says something that compromises national security. But let me tell you guys, if these files, extensive number of files, are released to the public and we finally get to know the truth, we need to wait until June, I think, when the Congress, I think it's a Congresswoman, Luna, she will release some. She's demanding to get the files released. If we couldn't comprehend at full extent the Epstein files yet, we're gonna overwhelm ourselves, and it's gonna be a lot of chaos going on with this UFO and UAP and alien phenomena. Though I mean, it is. It is like it's gonna be chaotic.
and this is my view of things, is we are being prepared for a great, great deception. That's the word that God keeps putting on my heart. Deception, deception, deception. And so I go to 2 Thessalonians, verse 9. It says this in chapter 2. The coming of the lawless one will be in accordance with how Satan works. He will use, check this out, all sorts of displays of power through signs and wonders that will serve the lie and all the ways that wickedness deceives those who are perishing. One more, Billy, because I think it's important for us to dive into scripture, which is 1 John 4. Dear friends, do not believe every spirit or interdimensional being, but test the spirit or interdimensional being to see whether they are from God, because many false prophets have gone out into the world. This is how you can recognize the spirit of God. Every spirit, interdimensional being, that acknowledges that Jesus Christ has come in the flesh is from God. But every spirit that does not acknowledge Jesus is not from God.
Right.
This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have heard is coming, and even now is already in the world. So, my friend,
Let's see what Matt God says.
Not that we should be living in fear, not that we should be living in anxiety and worry. Quite the opposite. I feel like.
All right. So here he is. Looking forward to have this one very well. Let's go for this one. Yep.
Hi, I'm JT, and I made Result Hunter, the search engine for conservatives. Let me just tell you what it does. First,
thank you, buddy.
Former Congressman Matt Gaetz says he was briefed on a secret alien breeding program while in office.
Gaetz, who was President Trump's initial pick to become Attorney General, sat down with podcaster Benny Johnson on Tuesday. Let's listen.
I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication.
That's crazy.
Whoa. Gaetz added that humans who were involved were allegedly abducted from war zones. He said, quote, what they explained is that the military ran a very secret program where aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones, from even the caravans of migrants.
Yeah.
It's also confirmed that the U.S. military is in possession of alien technology. I'm not sure I would use the word confirmed. Has reverse engineered that technology as well. Wow. Congressman Tim Burchett gave an interview of his own yesterday, responding to Gates' suggestions on aliens. Let's watch.
If they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up. You'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. It would have set the earth on. This country would have come unglued, I think, if they would have heard all that I heard. They would demand answers.
That's
I'm not
crazy.
going to let you dismiss this, because somebody who was in Congress and of power saying these things, that people in vulnerable communities were getting abducted for testing on anything that has to do with aliens or some species, like this, that's a little bit of a huge accusation. I think we shouldn't just skip over it unless you just think this man's a pathological liar. I don't understand why we would just pretend like that's not huge. Even as I read the tease, our whole control room was like, excuse me?
I think you're all being very gullible.
So he's just a pathological liar. That's what you're saying. It doesn't.
I think he's also very gullible.
No, I think there's secrecy around UFO.
Okay, let's cut it. All right. So anyhow,
I recently directed the Secretary
let's stick with the topic.
to begin releasing
UAP UFO. We know it. I just wanted to share about the craziest thing that's going on with that, but I'm gonna make another live for that regarding to the breeding experiment with humans in order to create a UAP. So, which is crazy, it's insane, it's mind blowing.
government files relating to UFOs and unexplained aerial phenomena.
We've seen too much. I've seen too much. So I think it's time that they come clean. I don't know if it's about little green men or flying saucers, Mr. Morgan.
Look, people like them, they know that the people need to know the truth. They're in the power for a reason. They have nothing to lose with all these left and right balance in trying to avoid the conflicts. But people like him being accountable, people in the office being ethical and moral, we deserve to know it. And something's gonna happen very soon. Hopefully very soon.
think it's about disclosure. It's about transparency.
Is the world, is America, is the wider world ready for the stuff that you've seen and heard?
It's not the government's job to decide what I can and cannot handle. They look down upon people like me and they joke about it and they laugh about it behind my back. I've got a big mouth. I'm sick of the American public being lied to about a lot of issues. If that makes me a target, so be it.
Back in February, President Trump ordered War Secretary Pete Hegseth to prepare the release of the UFO files.
Piers Morgan.
Comments by former President Obama, whose admission that aliens are real was described by Trump as a leak of classified information. It's fair to say that Hegseth and the War Department have been a bit tied
That's
up.
why I just said a moment ago, Obama talking about
underway, and the first wave
aliens are real. So Obama disclosed it. He just said it.
Remember, I recently directed the Secretary of War. How good is Pete Hegseth doing, by the way? To begin releasing government files relating to UFOs and unexplained aerial phenomena. And I figured this was a good crowd because I know you people, you're really into that. I don't know, I am. So I'm pleased to report today, I thought I'd save it for this crowd because you're a little bit out there, you know, a little bit. That this process is well underway and we found many very interesting documents, I must say. And the first releases will begin very, very soon. So you can go out and see if that phenomena is correct. You'll figure it out. Let me know.
Are you worried that your home address for business puts your privacy at risk? At iPostal.
Well, thousands of documents and images will reveal intelligence on unexplained aerial phenomena, or UAPs as they're now known. Successive governments have kept the files secret due to concerns over how the public would handle apparent evidence of superior alien life. Republican Congressman Tim Burchett sits on the House Oversight Committee. He says the public can handle the truth. He's also made headlines by describing military briefings on underwater alien bases.
That's true.
Joins me now. Congressman, thank you very much indeed for joining me on Uncensored.
Thank y'all for having me.
I think will be some chaos in between.
Well, let me start with a very direct question. Do you believe aliens exist?
Yes, sir, I do. Yes, sir, I do. I'm a Christian, and it doesn't. I'm on the forgiving end of the Christian spectrum. I'm not here to proselytize or save your soul, but I just tell you that for background. You know, Genesis 1. Chapter 1, God created the heavens and the earth. You look at the book of Ezekiel. Ezekiel saw the wheel, and it described a wheel within a wheel with some sort of landing craft, landing gear that came down from it. In a wheel, back in biblical times, the most advanced technological machinery we had was a wheel. So that's what they were describing as close as they could describe it.
The UFO.
Much.
Back in the day.
Not myself personally.
Didn't know nothing like this.
When I
had no idea what it was.
Government officials, video, pictures, some of the best trained pilots in the world had described having close collisions with some sort of aircraft or apparatus. And so I think it's time that they come clean. I don't know if it's about little green men or flying saucers, Mr. Morgan, but I do think it's about disclosure. It's about transparency. And you as a member of the media should be all for that regardless. I just want to know what we're spending tens of millions of dollars on.
Yeah, listen, let me be clear. I'm of the view we should be as transparent as possible about these things. I find it impossible to think that we are the only creatures that exist in the universe. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. We're a tiny pinprick out there. There are gazillion galaxies, this massive universe. Of course, there's other stuff out there, is my instinctive feeling. But as a journalist, I do like to rely on cold, hard facts. So I guess the more difficult question for you is, you've seen and heard about what we would describe as phenomena, I guess, but it's unexplained phenomena. Have you ever seen any cold, hard, irrefutable factual evidence to support alien life?
Well, unless dozens of federal authorities are lying to me and pilots are lying to me, I get, and the pictures and videos and things they've shown me are complete fabrications. And if they are, then I guess I haven't. But have I seen a craft or anything fly over me that was unidentifiable? No, sir, I have not personally. No. but I do believe I have to question why a pilot, some of the best in the world, would risk their reputations coming forth and telling me this stuff. And the descriptions they gave were very vivid and very similar to what civilians and people that, and somebody even I know back 40 or 50 years ago had seen, and the descriptions were almost identical.
Wow.
So what were they? What are you specifically referring to there?
I had a friend of mine who was in the Navy, and I was on one of these TV shows that you've been on multiple times. You know, it's funny when they film you, they'll film you sometimes for 15 or 20 minutes, and then they'll use it for 7 dadgum episodes. So I'm just thinking I'm on one episode, and I was in Nashville, Tennessee, of all places. I was at a dinner, and a guy used to be in the legislature in Nashville, but he's no longer in Nashville, of course, because that's just where the state capital is. He called me, and I remember picked up the phone. He said, "Timbo," he just said, "I saw you just on this alien show," and I thought, he was going to make some joke to me about it. And he said, when I was in the Navy, and he described a situation where they were on the deck of a ship, and this craft flew over them, and then it took off without any noise or anything, any disturbance around them. And he described it as something. I mean, he's a country boy, and I'm more or less a country boy. He described it as something about 2 city blocks, and he said it was circular in shape. And then he said when they went back to port, these 2 men came on the boat in suits and suitcases or briefcases, and debriefed them and told them that if they talked about that, they'd be busting rocks for the rest of their life if they were lucky. And none of them talked about it. I mean, that's just back when people did that. Nobody was looking for
crazy.
The internet.
I think those 2 guys are well known, obviously, the Men in Black or something. You see in the movies what is science fiction, but this nowadays is more reality than a fiction. It's also a secret group, part of the Majestic 12, which is 12 people from the elites, was formed back then to keep the secret.
It wasn't around for them to get clicks on it. And then when I came out, I started talking about all this to folks. I'd get calls from people, and I got a call from a former Air Force officer who described eerily something of the same shape, the same color, the portals that were in it. And, it just, and then just this last week, I was in a skiff briefed on some stuff that was, didn't look anything like that. There's like 3 or 4 different groups that you see. There's the classic saucers. There's something that you and I maybe, or the scientific community, would describe as plasma. And then there's some of this other stuff that's unknown out there, or wedge-shaped things. So there's several different varieties that have been spotted throughout recent history. And these people had no connection with each other. Again, our military, I don't know if you know this or not, sir, but if they make a sighting like this, they're pulled off the line, and they will get a psych evaluation. They will literally get a blemish on their records.
Yep.
So it's not encouraged. And again, and when I have some little punk with a man bun who's an unelected bureaucrat telling me and a bunch of military people that the president is on a need-to-know basis, I think that tells you we've got a real problem within our government, and it's worldwide. I feel like this is something that's being held back for whatever reason. For whatever reason, I just want the answers.
So you believe? I know that you've been right.
All right, I'm going to pause it here. I'm going to find something, guys. I'm going to tell you. There's a project, I think, was launched by the Soviets, excuse me. Not really sure. And it was back in the day, I think 70s, 80s. I don't know. It's called the Blue Project. So the Blue Project, it was in order to catalog and categorize the type of UAP or UFO. Back then it's a UFO. And we can look it up right now. UFO Phenomena. Okay, here it is. So it was not the Soviets. It was the U.S. Air Force Operation 1952-1969. That's good. My mistake there. Let's find something. How about this one, though? It will
On
tell
December
you.
17th, 1969, the United States Air Force concluded Project Blue Book, its investigation into unidentified flying objects, or UFOs. Headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base near Dayton, Ohio, Project Blue Book ran for 12 years, beginning in March of 1952. The project had investigated some 12,618 UFO sightings, and of those, 701 remained, quote-unquote, unidentified. Created by the United States government because of security concerns and fueled by American obsession with the extraterrestrial. Project Blue Book was a pure product of Cold War paranoia.
Yeah.
The origins of Project Blue Book began with the flying saucer craze of the 1940s, sparked by Kenneth Arnold, an amateur pilot from Idaho. On June 24, 1947, Arnold was flying over Washington state on the way to an air show in Oregon. He had taken a brief detour to search for the wreckage of a crashed Marine Corps C-46 transport plane. Suddenly, he saw a series of lights flashing in rapid succession before observing several airborne objects in echelon formation darting
Wow, these
about
are
at
official
a tremendous
documents. So.
speed. Unsure of what he was seeing, Arnold performed a rough estimation of the object's speed and found that they were moving at approximately 1,700 miles per hour. This was much faster than any human-made craft. Upon landing in Oregon, Arnold told his story, and the news spread rapidly. Arnold described the unidentified objects to reporters as, quote, like a saucer if you skip it across the water. This phrasing, misquoted by newspaper editors, is likely what led to the term flying saucer and its association with the extraterrestrial. Only 2 weeks later, on July 8, 1947, the U.S. Army announced it had recovered a, quote, flying disc that had crashed near an installation in New Mexico.
No, the
A
Roswell.
day later, this report was corrected to state that the crashed object was an experimental weather balloon.
Yeah, sure.
However, these two
Weather
incidents
balloons, sure.
lasted decades. People began to scan the skies in search of further evidence of flying
I mean,
saucers.
there's a lot of reports.
And they found
Come
them,
on, guys.
reporting sightings in the hundreds over the next few years. The United States government was less concerned with the UFOs in 1947 as evidence of extraterrestrial
Trying to cover the sun with a
and
finger.
with the threat they might pose during the Cold War. That year marked the beginning of the idea that U.S. airspace was traversed by foreign, potentially Soviet, flying craft. The newly established U.S. Air Force was charged with investigating reports of UFOs. To this end, it instituted a comprehensive study of UFOs.
I don't know. I think I kind of want to watch it. The whole video.
The Project Sign did not rule out the possibility of extraterrestrials. It found that UFO sightings stemmed from, quote, one or more of three causes: mass hysteria, hoax, or misinterpretation of known objects.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems.
Nevertheless, it recommended continued investigation of all sightings. Project Grudge followed. It continued the investigation, but also featured a concerted public relations campaign to alleviate public anxiety over UFOs, reassuring the public that they were balloons, regular aircraft, optical illusions, or weather phenomena. Project Grudge also found no evidence of advanced foreign weapons. It concluded that UFOs did not threaten national security. The Air Force terminated Project Grudge in December 1949, fearing that evidence of the military's interest in UFOs helped to fuel public interest in the phenomena and contributed to war fever. Despite this, public interest in UFOs did not subside, nor did fears of the Soviets. In 1951, UFO investigations began to pick up again, this time under a new initiative, Project Blue Book. The establishment of Project Blue Book came on the precipice of the nuclear arms race with the Soviet Union and was the most comprehensive and involved effort to study UFOs. Project Blue Book had two principal aims. The first was to determine whether UFOs posed a national security threat. The second was to determine if any data gathered on UFOs could provide useful scientific information or advanced technology. To accomplish these objectives, Project Blue Book aimed to identify and explain all UFO sightings reported to the Air Force. The procedures of Project Blue Book involved the collection of much more technical data on UFO sightings than previous projects. It also attempted to investigate more vigorously the veracity of reports and observations. These investigations proceeded in three phases. The first was an initial investigation of the UFO reports conducted by the staff of the Air Force Base nearest the location of a reported sighting. If the initial investigation did not reveal an explanation of the observed phenomena, it entered a second, more intensive phase with analyses conducted by the staff of Project Blue Book. Each case was scientifically analyzed, and if deemed necessary, staff could draw on all scientific facilities available to the Air Force to assist in arriving at an explanation. Staff conducting these analyses were told, quote, to view each report with a scientific approach and an open mind. The third phase of the program involved the reporting of information concerning UFO sightings, evaluations, and statistics. Investigations continued well into the 1960s.
What?
By then, the controversy around the program
Flying saucer on the moon? Wow.
There were numerous critics of the project's reporting, particularly as it related to the quality of research conducted by Project Blue Book personnel. Additionally, like Project Grudge before it, Project Blue Book seemed to be engaged in an effort to downplay or dismiss reports of UFOs.
Wow.
Some who believed in UFOs and extraterrestrial life even went as far as to suggest a cover-up.
Yeah.
After
Normally, when you knew so much about these phenomena back then, or like these guys say from the Congress, you know so much, they try to end it up by silencing you. Like, if you know what I'm trying to say, take you out of the way, or no longer be around of this existence. When you're not too much, it's also a problem. So,
series of congressional hearings in the mid-1960s, the Air Force funded a study into UFOs led by physicist Edward Condon. The Condon Committee, as it came to be known, published its results by 1968, finding that further study of UFOs was unlikely to result in any major scientific discoveries. At that point, congressional and Air Force leadership moved to wind down Project
it's a real picture.
In its final analysis, Project Blue Book concluded that UFOs did not pose a threat to U.S. national security, that there was no evidence of unexplained advanced technology, and that while the Air Force did not deny the possibility that life may exist on other planets, there was no indication that any of the UFO sightings reported had been extraterrestrial vehicles. This seemingly marked the end of efforts on the part of the U.S. government to research UFOs.
What else could be?
However, since entering into the 21st century, there has been some renewed investment in investigating UFOs and other unknown anomalies.
2026.
In 2022, the U.S. Department
3
of
years.
Defense founded the
It's about
All-Domain
3
Anomaly
years from
Resolution,
2023 hearing.
which aims to, quote, standardize collection and reporting, end quote, of UFO sightings. While Project Blue Book ended on a conclusive note, The search for the truth of UFOs continues.
Yeah, weather balloon. This was mounted. It was nothing like real. It was brought up to take pictures, like it was a weather balloon. Excuse me, like it was in Roswell. So in Roswell, as far as I know, the aircraft crashed. There were like two alien beings inside that craft. They recovered the bodies. They recovered the UFO, and many people saw it. Many people saw it. There's several cases about it. There's several uh, scenarios with witnesses that they exchanged that information to someone back then with a letter, and the letter was later on disclosed, and so many people knew about it. So anyhow, but the thing is that the government made up a fake picture with some sort of a thermal wrap for when you get so cold you can wrap yourself, and saying that it was a weather balloon or something, like just come up with a crap. But yeah, guys, I mean, right here I'm just gonna tell you, like, alone on this vast universe, we're not alone, obviously. Thinking that we gonna have the UFO phenomena disclosed very soon. Hopefully very soon. I've heard something from um, Anna Luna from the Congress getting this information to be disclosed. So it was something apparently like a week or two ago that they're rescheduled until June. So we will see what's going to happen in June. Um, we can find it right now. Maybe. Let me pull in a UFO. Alien files declassification. Let's find it. UAP whistleblower. That's nice. Okay. Videos. I think it's this. Yep. Facebook. Audio back on.
Believe that yes, there is definitely. So long story short, there have been briefings that we've received as Congress that leads us to believe that yes, there is definitely an advanced technology out there that's not created by mankind. And yes, of course, we've seen other evidence where it could potentially be UAPs, and then we later find out that there's drones. But there is a certain amount of evidence that we simply can't explain. Some of the physics that are defied in how these vehicles operate are very interesting to note. And we are not the only government that's looked into this.
Wow, look at this.
I really do look at this from the lens of national security. And as you know, as we continue to evolve specifically on the front of AI and drone technology, we have to ensure that are these things, whatever they may be, are they potential adversarial weapons, advanced weapons, or not? And I think the whole aspect that the federal government can deny access to members of Congress, of which has happened not just to myself, but to other members of Congress as well, is not just alarming, but it's also something that cannot truly exist in a free and fair society. Government should not operate in secrecy. And so I look forward to the American people being able to determine their own conclusion after they've seen some of the evidence that we have seen. But most recently, Representative Gates actually came forward. He was on that initial CODAL with me and Representative Tim Burchett, where we were denied access. And he will tell you that if you've seen some of the stuff that we've seen, you will too become a believer.
The Safety Act must be repealed because it lets...
That's really cool. That's really cool. Thank God. Happens very soon. 2021. Many things released, guys. So this is Jeremy Corwell.
Surely life does exist out there somewhere, but it's been hard to accept this idea that they're coming here, whoever they are. If that is what UAP represents, which I don't know, it's a mystery. We don't really know the origins of these UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomena. It's no longer just eyewitness testimony or even mass eyewitness testimony, but there is evidence on many levels for what it is that we're observing. 2004, the Tic Tac UFO. 2015, off of the east coast of the United States, the now famous gimbal
video.
Oh, fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh.
2016, the Mosul orb. 2019, the swarms off of the west coast of California on 10.
Wow, that's so cool.
One of the most recent cases
Really
that I
cool.
was an open and active case and remains open and active at this moment, at this time of filming, is the 29 Palms Marine Base, where it was a mass sighting of UAP.
Those are not aluminum rounds because aluminum rounds fall. And nobody shoots in a 5-gun section.
So at this time, it is an open case. We have not definitively solved it. But like most of the cases I look at, most can be solved. Some can't. And I'm hoping for those Marines who want answers. And they don't care what the answer is. They just want a definitive answer.
No, you can see like an outline or something.
Yeah.
Happening now, a NASA task force is holding its first meeting on UFOs.
The idea that within the scientific community, NASA would come together and would bring bright minds and focus in the aperture on this subject of UAP is highly encouraging.
We feel many events remain unreported. Commercial pilots, for example, are very reluctant to report anomalies. And one of our goals in having NASA play a role is to remove stigma.
There was a representative from the FAA that came forward and said in February alone, they had
Wow, that's really cool.
reports.
That's cool that NASA putting things together on this.
FAA,
It's really awesome.
just in February alone, that's showing that this reporting process is working, that the stigma is reducing, and that pilots are reporting UAP, that people now have a sense of permission. It's okay to talk about UAP. In fact, it's a duty
It
to
is good.
Sure.
We don't know what they are. We're talking about it. We just
but it's been hard
exchanging info.
that they're coming here, whoever they are.
Yeah, whatever they are, they're real. They're biological entities, maybe biological androids. I don't know. Get to know yourself. Are they real? Can they reproduce as us humans, like how we do? Like we have, man, woman. We don't know what they are exactly. What exactly they want from us. I mean, they just want to make contact, and yes, we want to make contact. What if we do make contact and we regret it big time? Contact has been there, obviously, but official contact. As they're good entities, they're bad entities. You hear what the vice president said. Is something that can be good, something that can be bad. So we just gotta be careful, guys. And is your opinion, whatever you think, is well respected. This is what I'm sharing. What you want to share it. Whatever you want to comment. If you want to suggest me something, want to talk about it, I'm going to keep doing these lives, and not just about these topics, it's several topics and supernatural things, something that I don't even understand, but it's real. It is there. You can see even the technology can detect these things. And then maybe there's some sort of a ultra dimensional entities that we cannot see but are still around. So I don't know. The answer, whatever you want to believe, the answer is out there. We still hopefully coming this June with Anapolina Luna from the Congress. Apparently, it's gonna be in June. Alright, guys. Well, finish this live. Thank you so much for staying on this live. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your day. Respect to be respected. Educate yourself the most as you can. And remember, the truth is out there. We just need to dig and knock doors. And God bless you. God bless everyone. Have a wonderful day.